I just got done feeding. Another nasty stretch of weather here. We were in a blizzard warning yesterday. Didn't get too much snow, just a lot of wind. We're kind of on the edge of it. But yeah, just gonna be cold, some wind, and just kind of a little nasty stretch of weather here again. Gosh, that processor is unbelievable. Feeding these cows some raunchy bales. 3 cattails, 3 stover bales, and 2 good slew bales. And man, it's just unbelievable what that shredder does. Just, I don't know, the cattails don't have too much nutritional value to it, but just one of those things, just something to get in their stomachs where they just keep heat, you know, make heat for themselves and get some good stuff on top then. And usually put alfalfa bales on top, but we got so much slew hay and not so much alfalfa that I'm shredding really good slew bales on top, and they just hammer it. So don't expect them to eat all of it, of course. They can lay on some of it, but you know, that's unbelievable how I can feed cheaper hay for the time being while we can. Just able to do it, especially on ugly days like this, instead of feeding better stuff and wait for that for nicer days, and when they actually will need more stuff then too when they get closer to calving during their stages here. Probably in the next, well, we got to get some liquid feed for them here for some supplements, but probably in 2 or 3 weeks they're going to start getting more alfalfa and clover, I suppose. You got some clover bales too, but they'll eventually get some better stuff, this group anyways. But you cows have ate quite a bit of it already. How you doing, Missy? You can see kernels of corn there from those corn bales, licking up the corn. Really find some cobs. That's nice. Guess I don't expect them to eat all the cattails. But they'll eat what they want, chew on it, and lay on it then, I suppose. Hey, buddy. They'll eat what's good and leave the rest for bedding. That wind is still huffing yet a little bit. I'm supposed to get down to 25 below again. Tomorrow night. It's supposed to get down to 15 below tonight, but be very warm tomorrow. Yeah. Do a pretty good job. About 6 hours later, 5 hours later. I mean, this is as good as I can ask them to eat some of this stuff, I guess. But the rest they can lay on and whatever they want to do with it. Still finding some more stuff to eat. I think they're finding kernels of corn yet. That time of year for the cows here, when they still need nutritious stuff yet. You know, tomorrow they'll be getting pretty much all better slew bales, and corn stover bales will get some better stuff since we'll be feeding with the other tractor. Gotta feed the calves, so won't be running the shredder tomorrow. We'll be getting some better stuff, but pretty good though. I usually do it if it's cold out like this, you know, 2 days with this thing, 1 day with this thing, because we got to feed calves. Then they need to replenish their chopped hay feeders, so some corn. unless it's nice out, 15 degrees and above, 20 degrees and above, we'll sometimes use both tractors then. Depends what's going on. So, depends on what we need to feed at the time. So, but especially this time of year for our cows, that's the time. This is time of the year to push poor quality hay. Help stretch that hay supply, especially the good quality stuff we got. It's going to be after this year. It's going to be in short supply. We do supplement them some stuff, some alfalfa, or if we have clover, we'll give them some. We usually do liquid feed this time of year. We'll probably be getting something next week here, liquid feed, just for make sure they're getting enough with some of the hay we're feeding them, so they're still getting what they need. Usually the poor slough bales or poor hay will, we would shred alfalfa on top of it usually. But this year we've been shredding the better slough bales and stuff because some of that slough grass is nice and green, and it's just the cows just snarfing that up. Even on some of these nicer days, even past over the past 2 months, put out a nice slough bale for them and they just hammer it. So we baled up a lot of our slough hay this year early because, well, they're also just gonna get worse and worse and worse as time went on. It's just what you can do with the hay. I mean, years, even before we had the processor. The first processor was back in was it 2008 or something? I forget when we first got our first processor, but sometimes we get just the hay ground up, call in a hay grinder, come over, we shred a bunch of the slough bales, and then we mix, some alfalfa. We mix some alfalfa bales in there and mix some corn in with it then, and feed it with our mixer wagon then. And we've done that in the past, even when we've had a bale processor. But if it was more like a milder winter, we'd get a bunch of slough bales ground up and do it that way too. But it's amazing though. Pretty much what we do is we shred poor quality bale and we'll come back on top of it with a better bale then, and the cows will kind of mix it in themselves then, and just allows us for pushing some of that lower quality hay. Like if you have just good nice grasses or nice alfalfa, it's bale processor, it's nice to have to be able to feed with too. It's easy feeding with them, but you got a mixed bag of different hay types, I'd say especially if you do a lot of slough hay, or that is like a must-have. Just the way you can chop up those stalks and stems and just make it easier for those cows to eat, and they eat it faster too. You put it on the ground, they eat it so much faster because it's practically already ground up a little bit for them. You know how fast they'll eat bales, just incredible what rate they do. So, and on that note, this bale processor is for sale. We ordered a new one. There's nothing wrong with this machine, but we usually just, seems like when we get this one, I forget when we got this, was like 2016, or I forget what it says, what year it was again. I don't remember what year this one is again. It's on the ad, but yeah. I think this is our second processor. We usually get a new one every handful of years, because usually they always come out with some little tweaks on them or changes that make life easier. So it's been like that on every single one that we've noticed anyways. But yeah, that thing's for sale. Usually don't show stuff like this, but those long tails. 2 rats. I'm moving some bales here just so I grab them easier. And came around the corner. I've been going around here a couple times, and I saw stuff. That was a mouse right away, and he started running. I saw its long tail. I'm like, jumped out as quickly as I could. I got one. They started running over here to these bales here, and then I started walking back in. Here I saw another one then. Mice are one thing. Rats are another. Should almost have the gun in here with me for in case I see a raccoon, but man, don't want a rat infestation. That is, it's not a good thing. At least that's two taken care of. Oh man, it's one thing about having bale piles, you know, especially with corn. Corn is worse yet. Man, I got lucky. I got both of them. Who knows how many more there are? What if the kitties will eat them? I think I'll get a pail and or a shovel and go bring them up to the barn. I don't know. I don't know if these cats would eat rats. I got no idea. I'll find out. I know our last generation of kitties, they'd eat about anything. Heck, even my old house kitty right now. I think the biggest thing she's killed was a weasel one time. I think that was like 5 years ago. Sitting in front of one of the buildings and kind of just sitting there watching her and just watching the weasel. And then, I don't know, I think Mom distracted the weasel so the weasel was looking at her then the whole time and hissing, and also this old cat just comes behind the weasel, bites him again. The greatest things ever to see from a cat. Like, really, kitty? Really? You vicious beast. But we'll see if the cats want to eat those rats. That's not good. I haven't seen a rat in a long time. The last time we had a rat was like 4 years ago. Chewed through a coolant line on the combine. Hate to have rat problem again. That sucks. Curly took one. Abby's got one over there. We'll see if they get eaten, I guess. Donald. They're playing with it. She's playing with it. I can hear Carly playing with hers now.